What's up, everybody? Geoff Cooper here. Welcome back to Blue Collar Heathen on YouTube. Today we are going to be responding to Dr. Andy Bannister. Who's that? He's some dude that has a PhD in Islamic studies. He goes and teaches all over the place. He teaches not only Islam, but also philosophy. So I look forward to hearing his 2-minute and 52 answer to the question, is atheism a religion? How long does it take to say no? Apparently 2 minutes and 52 seconds. Let's get this done. Normally this is where I give an introduction, but I kind of snuck that in at the beginning, so I guess we can get right to it. Short answers to big questions.
People often ask me, Andy, why do you keep calling atheism a religion? Isn't atheism just a lack of belief in God? It's not a religion. Well, I'm afraid that's wrong. That actually the more you look at atheism, the more you realise it's far more than just the lack of a belief in God. Let me show you why.
Here we go again.
If atheism simply meant the absence of belief in God, the first problem is it would have some very peculiar entailments. It would mean that rocks, small kittens, rubber chickens, Richard Dawkins' left foot are all atheists, because all of those things lack a belief in God.
Correct.
That's a very counterintuitive conclusion, and it strongly suggests that atheism is far more than just the absence of a belief in God. That can't be the definition.
That a conclusion is counterintuitive doesn't mean a goddamn thing. Don't care if it's counterintuitive. There's been lots of discoveries that have been proved out to be true, which are initially counterintuitive. That lightning typically goes up, for one. Counterintuitive, yet nonetheless true.
A second problem with the idea that atheism is merely the lack of belief in God is that if that were the case, how could it form part of someone's core identity?
It can form the core of someone's identity because they probably live in an area which is predominantly religious, or have a religious culture around them where many people identify with the religion that they are. Lacking that religion, it kind of becomes necessary to say, hey, hey, here's the Christians over here, here's the Jews over here, here's the Muslims over here. I'm over here because I don't believe any of that. I'm atheist. I mean, why do you even have to question this, Dr. Bannister? Where is the confusion?
You see, I don't believe in Father Christmas. I don't believe in the Tooth Fairy. But I don't go around introducing myself to people as a Tooth Fairyan. That's not what you'll find on my Twitter profile. I regularly meet people who introduce themselves to me as I am an atheist. It forms their core identity. Well, if atheism can form part of someone's identity, it is clearly more than the lack of belief in God.
Incorrect, sir. Incorrect, for the reasons that I've already described. I think I see what you're doing here, Dr. Bannister. I'm starting to get pissed off.
That's also demonstrated by my third piece of evidence, and it's that atheists and secularists are now starting churches. Yeah, they really are. A few years ago in London, England, a group of atheists came together, took over a deconsecrated church in London, and they started something called the Sunday Assembly. They meet together on Sunday mornings, they sing secular songs, they listen to inspirational talks about science. They formed an atheist church.
So, a group of atheists got together and have a weekly meeting to make a community. Where's the problem? One of the things that many people express when they're leaving a religion is, or one of the fears that they have is they fear losing that sense of community, that sense of belonging, that sense of being part of a bigger group. that if a secular organization gets a meeting place and has weekly meetings, that satisfies, that concern that many former theists that have now seen reason have expressed. I don't see what the problem is. If you want to call that a church, if you want to call that atheist church, this is you projecting more than a little bit on what that actually is.
And other such atheist churches are springing up in major cities around the world.
Good.
So atheism
need that.
looks like a religion. It is behaving like a belief system. It has churches, it has creeds, it has communities.
Explain to me what the creeds are. I'm dying to know what that is, because atheism is, and always has been, the answer to a single question, Dr. Bannister. That question is, do you believe in gods? Yes or no?
As gurus, it really is a
Gurus?
religion, a belief system.
Are you fucking me right now? Gurus? Come on, man.
Now, I say that not to belittle my atheist friends, but just to encourage them to kind of wake up and smell the coffee.
Here's the coffee. All right. I smelt it. I drank it. Come on, man.
If atheism is a belief system, there are some entailments that follow. And one of the biggest ones is this. If atheism is a religion or a belief system, you can't simply assume it. You have to give reasons for it. You have to give evidence.
Oh,
because
you
if you're not
motherfucker.
willing to do that, you fall foul of an aphorism once coined by the late new atheist writer himself, Christopher Hitchens.
All right. You guys caught that, right? So he's trying to redefine atheism to be a religion where it makes any type of assertion at all will do. What he's trying to do is 2 minutes and 52 seconds to reverse the burden of proof. These theists don't want the burden of proof. They want a relief of that because they have to, by their doctrines, keep going around preaching the gospel, saying God exists, Jesus did that, fucking Allah, the other fucking thing. And that places them in a place where they can be questioned, which they don't like. And an atheist can say, hey, I don't believe you, let me see what the hell you're talking about. He's trying to do the same thing to atheists. Not having it. Negative, Ghost Rider. The pattern is full.
In his book, God is Not Great, wrote these words: that which can be asserted without evidence can be dismissed without evidence. That applies to Christianity, but my word, does it apply to atheism too?
No, sir, it does not. Because stating that you have no belief in a God is not an assertion. The assertion is on those that claim that there is a God. These are the ones that are making an empirical claim. People like you, who are saying God exists. Prove it. Get the fuck out.
I would suggest that my atheist friends take his advice.
I got some advice for you. And so we have Dr. Andy Bannister demonstrating that he is disgustingly dishonest and beneath serious consideration. Dr. Bannister has demonstrated here that he is unwilling to engage in a meaningful way, that he instead prefers to fall back onto dishonest tactics, such as reversing the burden of proof, which was pretty much what his whole video here demonstrated. He and many other theists will like to try to force atheists to adopt a burden of proof that they can attack. They are sick of always being on the defensive. That is not our problem. One is free to define atheism, their atheism, as they see fit. The terms can be defined by those that hold them. One need not say there are no gods, right? Because that is adopting a burden of proof. One doesn't have to say that and be an atheist. One can, but you don't have to. You're perfectly within your rights to say, I'm an atheist, and by that I mean I do not believe in any gods. Just saying that keeps the burden of proof exactly where it belongs on those theists that are making claims that their gods exist, their gods interact with reality, their gods can do things, their gods have holy books, their gods, their gods, their gods, their gods, their gods. All this stuff that they want to claim that their god or gods do or did, it becomes incumbent upon them to prove it. And failing to meet that burden of proof, we can invoke Hitchens Razor as it was meant to be employed. Back up what you say, or you're out. Wanting terribly bad for something to happen is wishful thinking. You can sit here and want something to be true and want things to be a certain way, but that doesn't mean that they are. And for the theists that want to place the burden of proof on the atheists just for not believing, well, you guys can want into one hand and shit into the other. Tell me which fills up faster. That's all we got for this time. Thank you so much for sticking around. It has been great having you here. And if you're still waiting in the wings, go ahead, hit the subscribe button, ring the bell, get the notifications, do the Twitter thing. You can follow us on Twitter at BCHVids. And before I say the last bit, which we're all waiting for patiently, I'm going to be appearing on Deconversion Stories with Neil the 604 Atheist. He has graciously invited me on, and we will be on there the 6th of May. It's a Monday evening. It's 7 p.m. Eastern Time, should be 4 p.m. Pacific. And if you haven't already subscribed to Neil, I will leave a link to his channel below. Basically, the format goes, we'll hang out for an hour, shoot some questions back. He'll ask some questions. I'll give a bit of a backstory. We'll have fun, and then there's usually an after party where we can all hang out and do some BSing and stuff. So, be great to see you there. Look forward to interacting with y'all. And now, we'll see you next time. Take it easy.